Denver's real estate market broke 16 records in April related to sales. Single-family homes sold for an average of $620,000. Previous record was March of 2021 at nearly $580,000.
As the housing crunch continues to reach new territory and shapes into a bubble that is not going to burst anytime soon, we, like you, are trying to make sense of this market. I sat down with an elite panel of real estate experts to ask them your questions. The Denver housing market is sizzling hot and leaving many would-be homeowners out in the cold.
It's almost like the list price is considered the base price now.
Right.
It's like the starting auction price. And so like Matt said, if you can afford 600, you're starting at 5 so that you can play the game and you can bid.
We gathered a group of real estate experts to help us make sense of the historic milestones being reached in the heart of a global pandemic, no less.
A lot of the demand comes from COVID and the incredible migration that we've had here in Colorado from other places where people can work remotely and they're choosing the lifestyle in Colorado to live.
That's absolutely right. The metro area price increase, the median price increase just this last year was about 16%. The previous year from 19 to 20 was 8%. So it's not just that prices are increasing, it's that they're increasing faster as that supply that Mike mentioned.
The pandemic has only amplified the housing shortage. More people are moving to Colorado than those moving out. So the supply and demand balance is completely out of whack. And those folks coming in, millennials with money. Denver has the biggest net migration of millennial residents moving to the city from a different state in 2019, resulting in about 33% of Denver's population being millennials.
We have about 180,000 more households than we did 10 years ago, and yet we have 16,000 less active homes for sale. When you think about this net migration pool of people coming into Colorado, into Denver to experience what you guys are talking about, all the greatness that Denver has, and looking for a home. And there's money moving in. I know you guys are saying that it's unaffordable, but it's all about perspective. It might be unaffordable to somebody who's lived in Colorado for years, but it's vastly more affordable than somebody who's moving in from California or moving in from the East Coast like Boston or Chicago.
So how can you compete? With houses selling for thousands more than they're listed, how can buyers keep from getting in over their heads?
Really where the starting point for me now is I understand you're in a 450 range. We really do need to be looking at 375 to 400. Your price range that you want to be in, we need to start backwards. We need to know you're going to get to that price. And so what's interesting is I'm seeing a lot of clients that are actually going for less expensive houses than they originally were because it's going to get up to that price that they want.
That conversation has to be had in the very beginning to say, okay, if this is a $550,000 home that you're offering $650,000, what does it look like if that appraisal doesn't come in and you have to come up with the cash?
The lack of affordable housing is pricing lower income folks out and completely changing the fabric of neighborhoods.
It's becoming an issue. It's definitely an issue when you're talking about the most marginalized neighborhoods and individuals out there in the market, in the housing market. A lot of those are actually clients that I work with. And we are at a time where the decline in the number of builders that have actually been able to take advantage of building and the amount of zoning changes and how fast those things are actually happening are affecting our market right now. And they're affecting those who are actually from certain areas. The Northeast Denver is where it was typically a minority area. And then you have those children and those, for the aging parents that are having a hard time being able to now purchase nearby their parents or their families there. So they're having to go further and further out.
I think too that it's absolutely something that we need to address. And I think our governments, our cities, counties, state can look at options to help supply more affordable housing.
I don't agree with affordable housing because I think it traps people in an asset class that doesn't appreciate because it's locked down, and it doesn't give those people who need the ability to build wealth so real. They might be first generational home buyers and they're buying into something that's locked down and is not going to allow them to increase in value the way the rest of the homeowners are experiencing.
Affordable housing is clearly a hot button issue with our panel. Some feel the city's current affordable housing laws, peppered with hidden restrictions, are flawed. But the right changes could create opportunities that currently don't exist, like tweaking the law so families aren't locked in and unable to sell without taking a loss when they're ready to move.
If you move that time period up a little bit, then as opposed to make them stay in there as long as the period is now and give them a little shorter window where they have to stay in there and still make sure they can meet all the other stuff. So you have your teachers, your firefighters, your policemen, all your people in those communities that can still turn around and put that in place. Then I think there's ways we can do it, but we can't do it under the current laws that it sits in right now.
A lot of the things, the elements that you have in the affordable housing program is what you're referring to actually does keep people in a cycle of poverty. I agree with you, Vern, because you actually are reiterating there. This is a very hot button for me. The affordable housing program itself needs to be changed. Those deed restrictions that are actually on those homes that are actually exceeding right now, the families actually paying off those mortgages. If they kept that mortgage, that 30-year mortgage for the duration, a lot of them are still not able to enjoy the benefits of paying off that home and being a homeowner beyond that 30 years. That's a problem. That's a big problem.
The soaring prices and frenzied pace of our current market has many would-be homeowners thinking about waiting to dive into the purchasing game. A big mistake, according to our experts.
You know, I was having a conversation with somebody about this today. They're saying, well, I can't buy anything. It's not affordable to buy. And I said, gosh, but think about when we're saying, hey, that house is only $700,000. What a bargain. A couple of years from now, because that will happen.
Every day that you wait, every year that you wait, you're kicking yourself because that house is so much more. And especially when you're talking about these record low interest rates. I mean, we're expecting the interest rates to climb into 4% over the next year and 5% in 2024. Real estate is a long game. And if you're in it for the long haul, it will continue to appreciate. We all know that the appreciation levels, they rise and they wane like stock markets. It comes and it goes. But over long hauls, it always goes up 100% of the time. It always goes up. So getting into the game and taking advantage of that opportunity to set yourself up and your family for financial success.
It's almost like, can you afford not to get in the game? I mean, if you're out there on the fence and you can afford it, then can you, I mean, because you were probably the same person last year that was saying the same thing when you could have had that house for $100,000 less than what it is now. So who's to say next year it won't be another 100? The more you sit back on the sidelines, not being in the game could end up hurting you even more.
So if you are ready to dive in, like our panel suggests, now is the time.
It's interesting to hear, I think his name is Vern, talk about that, the idea that like if you're on the cusp of it, you know, is waiting the best idea? And then you think about all the people who are not on the cusp of home ownership,
correct,
who hear him say that and who say, well, I wasn't close a year ago, I'm not close this year, and you're telling me I'm going to be further and further and further away in the coming years. Yeah, absolutely. So historically, you got more homes that are listed in the summertime. Purchasing towards the end of summer can sometimes allow buyers better selection of inventory, more homes out there, which means possibly getting a better deal.
Well, you can watch the entire conversation. These guys were great, these local real estate experts, on our state of housing market on our website. Text the word housing to 303-871-1491 and we will send you a link.